Tzu Chi's Philippines chapter provides relief supplies to some 2,700 tricycle drivers in Caloocan City. COVID pandemic leads those with mental issues with very little access to professional counseling. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Let's get started. The Philippines government has recently adopted a strict COVID measure, which caused a group of tricycle drivers to face difficulties. Tzu Chi's Philippines chapter distributed aid in Caloocan City, with more than 2,700 tricycle drivers receiving rice and daily necessities. Take a look. At the square in front of the Caloocan City Stadium, volunteers and city government staff relayed the rice and daily necessities by truck to the distribution site. Tzu Chi Philippines chapter continued to assist tricycle drivers in difficult lives.
At the beginning of this epidemic, there was no job and families were in a very difficult situation. So we gave them 2 packs of rice and 2 packs of daily necessities.
These tricycle riders have a really difficult life because of the epidemic. We didn't expect it. Tzu Chi was able to help us wholeheartedly like this. We really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts.
Before the pandemic, tricycles were the most common means of transportation for ordinary people when going out. But now, to curb the spread of the virus, they can only work 3 days a week, and the number of riders has also been drastically reduced.
During the current pandemic, it is fortunate to earn 300 to 400 pesos a day. Before the pandemic, we had an income of 600 to 700 pesos a day. So it's really not easy. I hope that Tzu Chi will not only help the drivers in Caloocan, but the people in other areas.
This time, Tzu Chi's distribution has helped 2,721 families. Many people also donate their love while receiving supplies, hoping that the energy of goodness will expand.
Their daily lives are very difficult, but they still give a lot of spare change to help other poor people.
This poster I made is to express gratitude to Master Chen Yan. We really appreciate the help of Tzu Chi volunteers. I want to convey our thanks through this poster to Master and all Tzu Chi people. At such a difficult times in our lives, thank you so much for helping us like this.
Due to the pandemic, grassroots people in society are inspired to help and love each other and show their vitality and compassion. In Malaysia's Kelantan, volunteer Wong Khan Wei invited Malay friends to translate and sing the Tzu Chi song, I Stay Because of Your Love, also inviting music producers to record the translated lyrics into a song. Here's more. In Kelantan, the population is 96% Malays. We thought if we use their native language to sing the song, then it will be easier for them to understand, and they will be warmed by our attention to detail and further understand the meaning we want to convey.
Listi Yangningrum and Athira were invited to record the Malay version of the song, I Stay Because of Your Love. The two does not understand Chinese. However, through the English translation and the music video, they were able to understand the message the lyrics were trying to convey.
The volunteers give help to those in need regardless of race, ethnicities, or religion, and it has inspired me to participate and do this together.
Performing this song seems like I am expressing my gratitude for the frontline healthcare workers, as they have been working so hard since this pandemic struck us.
As a tutor, Munira was able to contribute her voice and also in translations too.
I had time and I can help to adjust the translations a little into Malay. So if I have other opportunities like this, then I'll definitely like to join again.
During the recording session, professional artists and music producers are here to help.
Beside Lo Ben Chong, who is a professional, the rest has never recorded before, so the process was not easy. They didn't know how to sing the song in a dynamic way or put emphasis in certain places. But when I was listening to the lyrics in both the Chinese version and Malay version, I was beyond moved. I don't know why.
I hope this song can help energize them. It's something musicians like us can do better to cheer them on.
Love is not separated by our skin color. I hope our effort can translate through the music and help spread Tzu Chi's love and compassion to the Malay community.
Under a Level 3 pandemic alert, schools have been closed and tutoring classes of New Shoots program were also suspended. Learning that students lack computers for online courses, volunteers have been recruiting computers everywhere. Students are also encouraged to make cards to thank medical staff. Take a look.
I don't know how to read or write, so I can't help with their homework, especially now that everyone is doing online courses. They don't take the classes because we don't have computers. Their online courses are all at the same time. When they use my mobile phone to connect, one person can attend the lesson, but the others cannot.
My own brother also donated his laptop. I will go back and test it to see if this device can be used.
那你这样跑几个地方拿这些
石牌嘛、淡水啊，今天是三峡嘛。其实要去找我妹妹也来了，他们也愿意捐一台。我们为什么要整理呢？
Why do we check the computer? Because we don't want to donate things to others that are not usable.
所以我觉得应该到个基本的水准。
So I think there should be a basic level of usage. Basically, when laptops break, we can't make repairs.
我们比较没有办法取得到。
In the case of desktop computers, we may be able to salvage parts from other computers to repair it.
可以维修它。
Watch how I used it and how to operate it. You need to practice before you can use it on your own. I will help you to install a free remote connection system. If it really doesn't work, connect it to me and I will help you troubleshoot your problem online. Do you have a special message for the doctors and the nurses?
My uncle is a doctor. My sister and I are here now because of his help. He is one of the most important people in my life. I hope that when I grow up, I will be able to protect others like you can.
Uncle physicians and auntie nurses, thank you for your hard work. We are here to support you.
But in the future, you will know that if you have a chance, in fact, this thank you also to former New Shoots recipient Ashe, who has graduated from our program. She serves in the internal medicine intensive care unit of Tzu Chi Hospital.
我们的乐学同学啊，他乐学同学最爱的人，大家猜一下，他最喜欢谁？没有，我乱写。他说他最喜欢他自己。
最先需要照顾的人是谁？就是社会。
I told her to go to nursing college to study. She was originally not interested. I said, I'm not dead yet. You can save people by studying it.
Since I was young, my parents have not been around. It was my grandmother who did recycling to make money to raise my sister and me. When I was in the 5th grade, I accepted the help of the New Shoes program. At that time, Sister Hua Zhen came to us and told us that there is a program to help me with school. Of course, I would be happy to have such an opportunity, so I participated. I walked one step at a time during my path of learning, and then I went to nursing college, and then I graduated successfully. Because I knew Tzu Chi, of course, I chose Tzu Chi Hospital directly. Because after all, I have received this kind of help since I was a child. It is not only reciprocating what I have received, but I also enjoy the environment.
我觉得你的气色比较好。
是吗？
哎，
我觉得我好累。
好累哈、带着学弟学妹的爱来呈现。好，来给你，谢谢你啊，你真的是我们的骄傲。希望这些小。
I hope that these small seedlings can grow up slowly under the irrigation of our love. Each of our teachers is like a gardener, and the gardener irrigates them so that they can grow into big trees.
During the COVID pandemic, many people dare not go out for mental health treatment. Psychologists say that such problems cannot be ignored during the pandemic, and treatment such as consultations can be carried out by video conferencing. They urge the public not to overlook mental health issues at this time. Here's more.
This is a simulated online psychological consultation.
I'm Zhu Bohan, a psychologist, and this is my practicing license.
In the beginning, both the psychologist and the patient had to show their identity proof. Now, this is considered a standard procedure and must not be omitted.
只有你一个人吗？是，只有我。
OK， 然后这个空间需要不被打扰，所以你是在一个独立的空间吗？
是的。
Psychological consultation conducted through video has been legislated for standardization in the country in 2019, and the official name is telepsychology. However, the Ministry of Health and Welfare has to allow the local governments to formulate a process that can be simplified. Therefore, when a consultation center needs to provide online counseling, it must first apply to the correspondent authority in writing and wait for permission. It is not only time-consuming, the standards of various counties and cities are also different.
Professionally, if the Ministry of Health and Welfare had originally given a clear statutory rule, then in fact the Health Bureau of each county and city government does not need to spend this time for review. People over the age of 20 can do online counseling. Some counties and cities start at 18.
Working as a counseling psychologist for 9 years, Zhu Bohan's major in college is public administration, but he suddenly went to the United States to pursue a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. In fact, changing the chat has been brewing in his heart for a long time.
小时候的一些活动的主轴都是
In my childhood, I mainly joined voluntary service and helped others. So when I chose this major, I thought it might suit my characteristics.
自己的特质。
A tree, a key, every prop is the cry of the inner world. It may seem simple to use central therapy to guide patients and perceive their emotions. In fact, these processes require a lot of experience and physical strength of the psychologist. On the shelves are dazzling, colorful toys for central therapy. 80% of them were bought by Zhu Bohan when he went abroad.
其实想在台湾买，但是
Actually, I wanted to buy it in Taiwan, but it was out of stock. Then I went to Japan and happened to see it at Akihabara, and hence I bought it. I would spend most of my savings buying these.
2万多就没了这样。
It is the destiny of a psychologist to work anytime and anywhere. But Zhu Bohan accepted this long ago when he first joined this sector. He said that because of this, people who can persist in this industry have infinite enthusiasm in their hearts.
This job cannot be separated from life because psychologists need to contact people always, and hence their lives. So after you come into contact with a patient, you'll have some linkage to his life.
To be observant, the counseling psychologist must have a variety of abilities. The EMDR therapy is one of them. By applying bilateral stimulation, with patients' eyeballs staring at the light spots going left and right to simulate rapid eye movements during sleeping.
This is normally used after experiencing trauma, for example, the Taroko incident, or the dust explosion, or even after contracting COVID.
The variety of prods sounds very interesting, but at work, psychologists often come across the abyss of human nature. If one is not paying attention or is not concentrated enough, there will be risk to get stuck in negative emotions.
What has to be isolated is important. You can't just be a psychologist. You may first have to be spiritually well before you can become a reliable psychologist or an effective psychologist.
If the body suffers from illness, it is of course necessary to seek a doctor. When there is a psychological pain, it cannot be ignored either. Psychologists use their hands to relieve many jaded hearts. This profession is sacred and important, yet it lacks our society's and country's attention.
11% of severely confirmed COVID patients were admitted to the Far Eastern Memorial Hospital in New Taipei City. The medical burden is quite heavy, and to encourage frontline medical staff, Tzu Chi volunteers started a meal delivery campaign at the end of June, which lasted for a month. Many doctors and nurses were also introduced to vegetarian cuisine and also experienced the benefits of eating a healthier vegetarian food. Take a look.
With orders flooding in, the vegetarian restaurant is busy in the hot morning. Being afraid that customers would get tired of rice, the restaurant owner changed it to a special dumpling meal. Freshly cooked dumplings were topped with sesame oil to avoid stickness and then sent directly to Far Eastern Hospital. The medical staff wore heavy equipment to struggle with virus every day. During the lunch break, they happily test heartwarming lunch boxes, which are provided by Tzu Chi volunteers. To relieve hard work of medical staff and to promote vegetarianism and improve their immunity to eliminate the virus.
This is less meat and more vegetarian. It requires us to form good bonds with all living beings. Therefore, as medical staff, we are actually guarding everyone's lives, and the lives of animals also need us to protect them together.
The menu design considers appetizers, balance, nutrition, and deliciousness. Many doctors and nurses have completely changed their perception of vegetarianism.
When someone told me about this, I wondered how it was possible. Every friend of mine eats meat. It's impossible for me to ask them to go meatless.
At the beginning, when they saw me eating vegetarian food, they all said it was delicious. Can I eat it too? I said yes. Then they joined me. In the past, everyone had a low acceptance of vegetarian lunchbox. But this time, the sisters are very thoughtful to help us prepare.
After I tried, the first one to give me the greatest encouragement was the head nurse. When I told her about this, she said that all 30 of us would follow and eat vegetarian lunchboxes. This is really great encouragement, so we have the courage to persuade others to join us together.
At first, the number of people joining was relatively small, but it gradually increased. Now we can order more than 60 vegetarian lunchboxes a day.
It's really a good thing, not just a single person making a vow. From the time that we were preparing the lunchboxes for them, and the hard work of Tzu Chi volunteers allowed this matter to change from a single vow to the desires of many.
1 month of a vegetarian experience has developed into a new eating habit, which gradually become a new daily routine.
It's the first time for me to go vegetarian for a month. I feel that during the process of being a vegetarian, my body has gradually improved. It has become lighter, and my bowel movements are also smoother. My thoughts and my emotions have become clearer. It also becomes a bit more stable, and my skin becomes less dull.
During the month of eating vegetarian food, I actually felt that maybe I like to eat prototype food, because prototype food allows me to see the origins of things. It makes my body and mind settled, and my life seems to be restarted.
Volunteers have turned kind thoughts into good deeds and accumulated kind responses, spreading warm and positive energy in the tense atmosphere of society.
Some of the assistance that Tzu Chi has given us, whether it is medical treatment or some supplies or encouragement. In fact, during this period, we have seen a very beautiful human aspect of Taiwanese.
人性非常美好的这一面。
In the 17th century, 1 out of 10 people died of smallpox in London, claiming millions of lives. In 1796, the first vaccine against smallpox came out. In 1980, the WHO declared the Earth is free from smallpox. Over the past few hundred years, humans have developed various vaccines to fight diseases, with many types of new COVID vaccines receiving the most attention. Here's more.
In the past, we only concentrated on the protein of the virus. At the beginning, for example, in the case of these viruses, we cultivated the virus and purified it, altering it in a way which killed the virus but did not change the structure of the protein on the surface, so antibodies can be stimulated to fight the live virus.
Vaccines are biological products made of bacteria, viruses, tumor cells, and metabolites. After being injected into a human body, it can produce antibodies to prevent and treat specific diseases. Traditional vaccines include inactivated viruses such as influenza and cholera, live attenuated vaccines such as yellow fever, measles, etc., and toxoid vaccines such as tetanus, and subunit vaccines and hepatitis B vaccines.
The simplest vaccines are whole virus or whole bacteria. Later, it was discovered that it can be problematic because of the process of detoxification. At the end of the 20th century, there began to be subunit proteins which could be used for vaccines.
New vaccines include conjugate vaccines that make use of the polysaccharide structure of the surface of bacteria. The most common type is Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine. There are gene recombination vector vaccines developed on the basis of the physiological operation of microorganisms and coordinated with the DNA of other microorganism species. There are DNA vaccines as well, which can activate our immune system by inserting genes or regulating genes through modified viruses or bacteria infections.
DNA vaccine is actually the first genetic vaccine we developed. Everyone is very suspicious that it may go to the nucleus of a cell and change our genes. Many studies have shown that it won't be the case. Even though AZ is a viral vector-based vaccine, it won't change our genes in the nucleus. Even so, these genes are not the reproduction-related ones, and it may involve very little amounts of cells only.
Moderna and Pfizer COVID vaccines are mRNA vaccines which deliver the mRNA that can produce the coronavirus spike protein into the human body, driving the immune system to attack and remember such viral proteins, enhancing the body's immunity to the virus. Since the first vaccine against smallpox came out in the 18th century, humans have been constantly fighting against treacherous diseases. During this period, the forces of science have ebbed and flowed. Diseases will not disappear completely from the world, but humans have been finding a good way to fight all of them. Various Tzu Chi volunteers have actively promoted a plant-based diet. In the suburbs of Manchester, they were invited to a vegetable garden for a tour, taking the opportunity to cook vegetarian dishes under an apple tree. We leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.